With each new generation, cars get bigger and faster and better equipped, which is great. Unless what made the original so memorable gets lost in the process. I mean, just look at the BMW M3 situation. It's a good thing then that other manufacturers intentionally or by accident sometimes manage to capture what made those old cars so memorable to begin with. Hey guys, Stipe here with a list of the top 7 spiritual successors of the car world. Let's do this thing. Shelby. Motherfucking Cobra. It's an iconic British car turned American monster thanks to the genius of one Carroll Shelby.
My name's Carroll Shelby, and performance is my business.
He was later instrumental in bringing the Dodge Viper to life too, which is why many people consider that to be the successor to the Cobra, but I think I found a better candidate. This, the Hennessy Venom GT. Think about it, they both started as small British sports cars, but got imported and stuffed with crazy big, all-American engines. Their bodies blistered in every direction to accommodate the power within, and then they were simply unleashed into the wild as if they were just some regular cars. Really? Take the Cobra Super Snake as an example. In 1966, this thing had a twin supercharged 800 horsepower, holy shit your pants, but no seatbelts. Hennessy does have them because of laws. It's the law! But then, not much else. The Lotus Elise, which served as its base, was famous for having fewer luxuries than a Russian jail cells, and Hennessy didn't bother to change that. Just give it more power. Maybe 1,000? 1,250? Okay, 1,450. So when you step on it, it doesn't stop spinning tires until 150 miles per hour. It doesn't stop accelerating until 270. Jesus Christ. I never thought a car as crazy as the Cobra SS will ever be made, but hot damn, this is it, and then some. Just like I never thought anyone would ever make another car like the DeLorean. Thanks to its futuristic design, the unpainted brushed steel body panels, and the cult following, even though it sucked, the DeLorean is truly a car like no other. Well, not anymore. Apparently, it had sex with the Pontiac Aztek, and here's what came out: the Cybertruck. It is crazy just how much of what I said about the DMC-12 rings true with the Tesla dumpster too. Futuristic design? Check. Unpainted body panels? Check. Cult following despite being worse than a visit to a proctologist? Double check. The only difference between the two is that Tesla is crazy fast. Now you might say, oh, but one is a sports car while the other is a truck. No, they aren't. They're just shaped like that. Okay, the DeLorean tried, but the money was drying up, so the development was rushed, which resulted in it being probably the worst handling sports car ever. It's terrible. And if Cybertruck is a truck, then why did it fail so hard when compared to the F-150? Why is nobody using it for work? No. What these two are, down in their core, in their essence, they are attention cars. The look at me and look at what I've got kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking.
What? Last bit of comparison, the CEOs behind them. Both charismatic, both very polarizing, and very nearly both ended up being arrested. Hey, that's a great segue to my next car. Carlton. Lotus Carlton. It was supposed to be just a fast version of the Vauxhall's 4-door saloon, like a BMW M5. But Lotus went a little bit too far with the whole go fast treatment and turned it into one of the most notorious crime cars ever. Just look what we have here. Enough seats for 5 masked guys, enough trunk space for 5 duffel bags, and enough power and top speed to leave in the dust not just the police, but also a Ferrari Testarossa. It was so fast that the British Parliament argued whether to outright ban it from the roads. Spoiler, they didn't. 30 years later, and there was another fast-like Ferrari 4-door saloon causing problems for our American popos too. The Hellcat Charger, aka the drug dealer's car. I'm not sure why, maybe it's rebellious nature, but these muscle cars have become like a status symbol for every independent pharmacist worth their salt, including Elon's probably. If you see a rundown house that's smoking like they just elected a pope, chances are there'll be a Hellcat Charger parked in front. This became so much of a thing that these cars started appearing in more and more rap videos full of crime-glorifying lyrics, selling crack, doing drive-bys, outrunning the police, and yep, a Hellcat. Of course, words are not crime, they just happen to be in a dope order. But why this car? Why not a Camry? Well, because art imitates life.
Did you get all poetic there? Is this a car channel? I'm unsubscribing.
Now, let's roll back to 1955, when the cars looked like this, and this, and this. But then Citroën showed up with their new DS, and holy balls, what is that? It wasn't just futuristic looking, it was a car from the future. Like, check out this list of innovations it brought. It had directional headlights? My car still doesn't have that. I'm telling you, man, the DS was on such a different level that it stayed in production for 20 years and was even named the greatest product of the 20th century, ahead of the Macintosh and ballpoint pen. Think about that. And when it was ultimately succeeded by the CX, that car, or any other car for that matter, was nowhere near as significant as the old DS. Well, any other except the Tesla Model S. I don't need to tell you how much of a game changer the S was. I mean, it made every other manufacturer panic and waste billions on their EVs, most of which were nowhere near as good.
I think I'll pass.
Plus, there were innovations like free charging on the Tesla network, autonomous driving, over-the-air updates. Yeah, I remember when Model S was criticized for not having a hill start assist. So Tesla just pushed a new software update, and bing bang boom, now it has it. Holy shit. I know hill start might be normal now, but back then, my mind was blown. Cars can do that? One last thing. For 60 years, Citroën DS, by the way, held the record for the most pre-orders until Tesla. You can hate it, but you can't deny it. Moving on. Back in the late 80s, this was your typical hot hatchback. Around 130 horsepower, stiffer suspension, shorter gears, and that's about it. Yeah, you may laugh now, but the GTI was considered a fast car at the time. Well, until Lancia decided to sell their rally car to the public. Compared to the V-Dub, Lancia had almost 100 horses more, a clever all-wheel drive system, adjustable dampers, and enough power and speed to rival some full-on sports cars at the time. It dominated the hot hatch category in a way which won't be seen for another 30 years when Hyundai's Ioniq 5N came around. Being an electric, the N is bursting with 640 horsepower, which again is a whole nother league even when compared to other German Uber hatches. And yet this car is not made to compare numbers and penis sizes, but to have fun on your own.
めっちゃ面白い。
Fun? In an electric car? Are you mad, you may ask? Yes. It does this trick where it simulates gear changes with rev sounds and even gives you a little kick in the back when you shift. Dougie Doug, Jason Camissa, Top Gear, and many more are singing endless praises about it.
Totally brings back some of the fun that's lost when you have an EV.
The N car can also pull some sweet Scandi flicks, thanks to, like Lancia, being developed by an actual rally team. Lastly, look at that 80s inspired boxy design. You can't tell me that these two aren't brothers from different mothers. And now for brothers from the same father. When Ferdinand Piëch took over as the CEO of the entire VW group, which also owns Bugatti, his grand idea to resurrect this dormant brand was so outlandish that many people laughed at it.
So we're going to make a supercar that's got 1,000 horsepower, which sounds great, but they haven't yet worked out how such a thing might be possible.
Just said it.
I just said it.
In the end, we know who laughed last, but how many of you know that this was not the first time that Herr Piëch pulled something like that? During the 1980s, he was the key figure at Porsche, and it was he who initiated the development of the 959. Because it was originally meant to go rallying, this ultimate Porsche was unlike any other supercar ever. It was tough, unbreakable, and a complete tour de force in German engineering. It had an all-wheel drive, which could send power front to back or even side to side, active suspension controlled by computers, sequential twin turbos, which eliminated any lag. Simply put, it was the most over-engineered car ever made, and the fastest one too. Remind you of anything? Then when Ferrari took its top speed crown, Porsche responded with the 959S, which pushed the limit even further, just like what happened with Veyron. And another similarity is that both cost more to produce than what they were selling for. Now, some consider that, because of its off-roading talent, the real successor to the 959 is actually the Cayenne, but something tells me that if you give the Veyron more ground clearance and some chunkier tires, it would do surprisingly well too. So, I stand by my choice. Anyway, time for some honorable mentions here. Can you guess these pairs of distant twins? Let me know in the comments.
All right, time for number 1.
It used to mean that buying a supercar meant buying a beautiful but unbelievably unreliable car from Italy. And you just had to deal with it because, well, that was part of the experience of owning one. Honda NSX changed that. Being from Japan meant it wasn't having a total breakdown every other week, even if you used it daily. And why wouldn't you? Look at it!
Dear God, it's beautiful.
Or you could take it to the track and show what that 8-inch tuned chassis can do to cars that are many times its price. That's its main feature. The NSX was a blue-collar supercar. It was affordable, well, attainable, even to the middle class. Shame that the second generation wasn't. Now, with a complex hybrid power and an all-wheel drive, the NSX2 was more like a baby 918, and with a price tag match. But that's where the latest Corvette comes in. When they announced that the base model was just going to be $65K, the car world turned upside down. A well-built supercar with 490 horsepower, 2.9 seconds to 60, almost 200 miles per hour top speed for just $65K? That's impossible. And it was. The buyers rushed to the Chevy showrooms, as if that OnlyFans girl was giving out free pussy again. So naturally, the dealers jacked up the prices. But now that dust had settled, you can actually get the base Stingray at its MSRP. That is, if you don't get tempted to go faster and faster and faster. How is GM doing that is beyond me. You, and even the CEO of Koenigsegg. Here's a guy who builds nothing under 1,000 horsepower, and even he is dumbstruck by the performance and quality you get for the money with the supercar vet. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about this topic. Go watch something else now, and I'll see you in the next one. Sipe out!